Hello everyone. So majority of the audience or viewers of my channel BlackBerry Boy, they watch my videos, I think because of Emacs and Org-Mode. Now I have been making these videos for quite some time now. I think it has been a few years, especially focused on Org-Mode. And my videos are basically me talking about something small that I learned or discovered, or I basically showcase or I show off wonderful things that I do with Org-Mode and of course Emacs. Now the thing is, I have never met anyone except one person here in the UK. I've never met anyone who uses Emacs and Org-Mode, so I don't really know. I mean, I do know few people like online. I know few people who worked with me in the past who actually uses Emacs and also Org-Mode. I think most people who use Emacs, they also use Org-Mode, or I should say people who use Org-Mode, they're anyways Emacs users. But I don't really know a lot of those people, or I don't really know them personally. I know few people online, and I have met only one person, and I think uh, I might be wrong, but I'm not really aware of any active Emacs meetup or user group, whether online or offline, at least in the UK or in India. So I'm sure there are some events or some user groups or some meetups. I'm sure there are people who probably do something together, but I'm not really aware of it. So maybe I was thinking that we can start one. Although to be honest, I'm not really a people person, but I think it is always good to meet people who have similar interests like you. For example, usually when it comes to technology, there are groups, there are meetups, there are events. For example, uh, I have been to few, not really a lot, but few meetups. I'm talking about not just few meetups. I'm talking about few technology meetups of other things that I do. For example, I remember when I was in India, there used to be one very popular meetup or community for open source. So that was great. And I think open source is like a very wide category or umbrella where you can actually discuss anything which is open source. And that is actually a good idea. But nowadays, I don't really see a lot of open source communities. There are communities or events or meetups for like specific technologies, which is, I think, great. But I don't really think there is any specific group for Emacs and Org-Mode, at least here in the UK or in India. So maybe we can do something. And if you are one of those people who uh, wants to maybe help me, do reach out to me. In fact, I met one person here in the UK. If that person is watching this video, message me. So basically, I met that person who basically has been using Emacs and Org-Mode, I guess, for a long time. And uh, I've met him few times. It was great. We had drinks, and when you meet someone in person, you of course discuss your common, interest, but you also can help each other. For example, of course, I use Org-Mode, I use Emacs, I use Linux, but my usage is, or my objective is not to learn each and everything about it. My objective is to basically solve my problem. For example, if I am using Emacs and Org-Mode, I basically use it to solve my problems of managing my to-do, managing my tasks, managing my projects. I want to publish maybe PDF or maybe using Beamer. So basically, I of course make videos on these topics because I want to show how we can use open source technologies to do our work and be really efficient. I think efficiency is really one of my theme, or getting the most out of my workflow. If I'm doing something and if I can find any scope of improvement in my process, in my workflow, I do that. And that particular improvement is usually like a small shell script or maybe using a utility. For example, I use, I mean, if you're following my channel, on my channel, you'll find videos that will help you in basically doing all your computing using Linux or open source. And of course, I'm mostly focused on terminal-based utilities so that you can automate it easily. If you're working on the UI and if there is no equivalent, usually in Linux, whenever you're working on the UI, there is something like in terminal. That is how things are, which is great. But but it is always good to know and learn from each other. And when you meet them in person or when you meet them online, which is still not bad, or when you have these events, I was thinking I wish if we had some Emacs focused event. It could be online, it could be maybe in person. That would be wonderful. I mean, of course, these days starting a meetup on meetup.com is not really a problem. I guess you have to pay a small fee, or we can just do it. I guess we should probably do it without Meetup because there are a lot of ways. But I think Meetup is a place where you have a lot of people, so it is always good for publicity. But anyways, I think that is that is something that we can anyways do. But if you think you want to help me, or if you have any suggestions, this is just an idea. I'm not really saying that we should do it or I will do it, but it would be good. It would be great if maybe we can get together and discuss it. So basically, let us discuss this idea of starting a group or a meetup focused here in the UK and in India. I'm sure there are, I think I did notice some Emacs something event that happens in the US, but I'm not really aware of anything in the London area or in Delhi area. So that would be great if we can do that. I think doing it online is definitely feasible and definitely easy. So if we do it online, of course, we can have something on Meetup to basically ask people to join. But if we do it online, then it would be couple of tasks, or not tasks, couple of talks. And usually when we talk about meetups, there are usually, when we talk about, when you go to any in-person meetup, you of course have a venue, which is of course sponsored by a company. You also have, drinks or maybe pizza or food, like snacks, whatever. But usually there are two talks. And I think if we do something, if not Emacs and Org-Mode, maybe we can do something for open source or basically, I'm talking about things that I use, but I think having something focused on Emacs would be wonderful. So let me know what you think about this idea, and if you want to help, reach out to me. I'm actually thinking about it. I think we should do something about it, at least now when things are now open. We can go out and meet people, and the whole idea is of course to learn from each other, but you also want this legacy or whatever you want to call it to basically, you want to promote it, right? You want more and more people to follow these things so that they can also experience how productive and efficient they can be. And I think it will basically make all of us, or all of our lives much better. And nothing wrong in using Mac or Windows or proprietary softwares, but if more people can use these technologies, open source technologies, then it is definitely for everyone's betterment, I guess. So that is all. That is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. Thank you very much.